So I might have mentioned that we were going to be selling the RV, and when Mark comes down and brings Studebaker, he's bringing the title with him, and he was going to come down today, but he got delayed, so he's coming next weekend. So I've got a whole week to nice this thing up, and one of the things I thought I would do is just repaint this strip right here. You see how this is scratched? This is aluminum here. But over the years, we've sat here and our chairs have leaned against it and scratched it all up and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do is just repaint this whole section. I've just sanded it lightly, and I've put a little alcohol on there to clean it off. I might paint something like that too, but I'll have a look at that some more. But anyway, that's what I'm up to today. I wouldn't mind painting this, but I think this is like tape. I think this is a sticky tape thing, and I don't know if painting it would be a good idea or not. So probably I'll just have to let that go. But even if I just did that one strip, that'd make it look a lot nicer, even from a distance. So that's what I'm working on. I'm using that white paper because we don't have newspaper here. We don't subscribe to a newspaper, and we don't keep sale papers or any of that. So. But this paper here is pretty cheap. You get a few thousand sheets of it for whatever you have to pay for a little bit. So I don't mind using it up for that at the rate we're going now. Otherwise we'd never use it up anywhere anyway. So might as well get the good out of it while we can. Oh, the joy. I'll sharpen up my knife blade. It works better if you cut it rather than tear it off. And that works better if you thing is sharpened. By the way, a lot of people don't realize that I have weapons here, but I do. This is my bug assault gun. And if anyone bugs me, I assault them with it. Take the safety off first. Yeah, it's a dangerous weapon right there. So I'm just putting that out there just to make sure none of y'all ever mess with me, because I want you to understand what a dangerous character I really am. That's all. That's all I gotta say about that right there. Oh, the joy. By the way, I made a video the other day about a holster, and one of my viewers said, you know, it was really obvious to me that you didn't know a thing about holsters, but watching you fumbling around was kind of funny, and I enjoyed watching it. And I thought to myself, you know, there's a character that I knew of up in Maine. I've heard about him. He says we're closer to Canada, and Canada has television. A lot of y'all don't realize that. Y'all don't realize that they have television in Canada, but they do. And up in Canada, there's a character called Red Green, and Red Green is famous for a lot of things. But what Red Green says, because he's got a kind of a do-it-yourself show where he shows everybody how to do stuff, and he says, if a man can't be handsome, at least he can be handy. You know, he would say that in light of man's attractiveness to women. And when that guy said that to me, I thought, yeah, and if a man can't be handy, he can be humorous. So I mean, even though I may not be handsome or handy, I guess if I can be humorous, I still have something to offer, right? So I'm just taking me a bunch of these little pieces of paper, and I'm gonna go out there and stick them on the side of that thing. Figure if I do 2 or 3 at a time, it's not like walking back and forth every time I just do one. So if I do 3 at a time, then that cuts down my walking back and forth stuff by 3%, which is 1/3 of 100%, which is 100 minus 1/3 is 30, times 1/10 of a third is 33, multiplied by, give me a second. So you divide the reciprocal by the procedent, and you multiply the inverted of the demographic chart. And that means that the times that I have to walk back and forth between there are somewhat lesser than they would be otherwise. Now, if you need me to, I can get 63 Impala to explain what I just said, because he's an expert. He used to be a expert, now he's an expert. Or I get you to talk to Cutworm. I was listening to Cutworm this morning, and he was having some fascinating dialogue with himself, and I realized then that I will never be able to measure up to the amazing wonderfulness of either one of them two gentlemen, but I just feel lucky to be associated with them. By the way, that's Cutworm 59. If you're looking for him on the tube of you, Cutworm 59, I recommend him. I do. You see, every so often somebody will say to me, well, watching you was a complete waste of time. And often I have to remind them that of course it is. Who the heck ever misled you in the first place enough to think that it was anything other than that? I mean, I don't advertise my channel as being a non-waste of time. I'm pretty clear to everybody that asks me that wasting time is really what my channel is all about. I mean, some people need help wasting time. You know, some people, they don't know how to waste time in a productive manner. That's why channels like mine are invented, so they can come over there and waste time in a completely non-productive manner. Now, having said that, I have a situational development over here where I got things flapping. Things is flapping in the breeze. See? Now that's not the way I would recommend doing that. But there's always another way to do something. And I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna attach and take little pieces of tape to each one of these little flapping pieces of paper. Just watch this here. You'll be totally amazed at the effectiveness of what I'm doing. Oh, just look at that now. How many of you would have thought of that on your own? I bet nary one of you would have. I bet nary for one of you. But because you watched McKay to my channel, you done learned a phenomenal new thing. So I don't recommend you watch my channel to learn phenomenal new things, because I don't think I know very many phenomenal new things. But I showed you that one there, so that means that you can waste your time for the rest of the day without guilt, because you done learned a phenomenal new thing. There. So, got any thoughts on that? Anything you want to add? Anything you want to say? Any glorious representations of your version of reality? By the way, let me say a few things about your version of reality. I don't care, and I mean this from the bottom of my grease-stained heart. I don't really care what your version of reality is. The very fact that you've hung out with me and you're hanging out with me, you've made the decision to waste your time in this manner, to me, oh, it's my wife. I didn't realize she was listening. See, I wouldn't have been talking all that. I wouldn't have been talking all that if I realized my wife was sitting there listening. Nothing. I ain't saying nothing, honey, babe. sometimes the best thing you can do if you're painting is to walk away. And what I mean by that is you're a lot better off putting a thin coat on than a thick coat and getting it to run. Like, see, that's running right there. I got a little bit too much squirt on that one. Same thing right there. But rather than keep on painting it, my dad used to watch my dad paint cars, and he would try to run a run off the car. Like, he'd get a run going, and he would try to keep painting it so that it would run down and literally run off the car. That was his theory. It rarely ever worked. Generally, the best thing you can do is paint a little bit. Don't make a complete covering, as you can see the scratches through that still. But, you know, walk away, let that dry, come back, put another light covering, and keep putting on more light coverings a little bit at a time until you get that covered. So that's what that was about. I got some other things I want to be working on here, so I'm gonna stop filming this, because watching paint dry, I have been told, isn't something that a lot of people consider to be interesting. I can't imagine why not. I'd get a big kick out of sitting here with a glass of iced tea and a rocking chair and a straw hat and watch paint dry. But not everybody's like me, so I'm gonna stop this and then I'll come back to it in a little bit. Okay. Love y'all. Bye.
Looks good.
Thank you. Okay, tubers. So I did that, but I also did this up here. Somebody had put some black sealant all up along the edge up there, and I recoated it with some white Flex Seal. I wasn't trying to make it beautiful, I was just trying to make it less ugly, because it was pretty ugly with all that black stuff up there. So I might have gone a little too far in places, like around that back upper tail light thing, or marker light, but I like it better than it was before, so we'll call that good. Tomorrow I'll get out here and start scraping off these things like this. Maybe that, maybe Big Daddy's old sticker. And I got some Gooby Gone. I don't know if this will wash off. I don't think this will, because I think this is some kind of a overcoat. What do you call that? Clear, some kind of clear coat. It's come off, so not only is it not going to wash off, but it's not going to wash off. So anyway, okay, there's all that. It's a good time to quit. Hope y'all are having a good day. If you're not, just get over it. Time for me to drink some tea.